Good morning everybody, welcome to a new week of our daily Bible videos. My name is Sarah and today we are looking at Luke chapter 24 verse 13 to 27. And here we've got the story of the two disciples who are walking along the road on the way to Emmaus, and Jesus, the risen Jesus, comes up alongside them and starts walking with them. And to begin with, they don't recognise him. And so they start to tell him about what they've seen and heard in Jerusalem with the crucifixion of Jesus, and these rumours that have begun about the empty tomb and whether he has risen from the dead. And in our passage today, we hear that as these disciples are walking along the road and Jesus comes and walks alongside them, they don't recognise him. And this kind of makes a little bit of a question in my mind, at least. Why is it that they don't recognise him? Is it that Jesus is doing some kind of comedy trick on them, where that he's somehow disguised himself so they can't tell that it's him? Is there something about his risen body which means that he looks different maybe to how he looked before, so they don't recognise him as being the same person? Or is there something kind of a mystery going on here? Is there something mystical going on where Jesus has somehow managed to keep his true identity hidden? He hasn't revealed himself fully to them. There might be lots of different reasons for why they don't recognise him. And they're in a kind of interesting position because they're walking along this road and they're in this place between disappointment but also a bubbling up of hope. So on the one hand, they're pretty disappointed and they're confused by the fact that they've just seen Jesus, the one who they thought was the Messiah, crucified on a cross by the Romans and laid in a tomb. And so all of their dreams about how they thought Jesus was going to restore Israel and free them from Roman rule, all of that has kind of come into disappointment. And it seems like the world isn't kind of quite how they thought it was. But alongside that, the women have been to the tomb and they've found it empty, and Peter's been there too. And so they're starting to think, well, what's going on here? Maybe he has come back from the dead. They can't kind of understand it, but they have this kind of bubbling feeling that something is going to change. And I think that can be really true for us at the moment as well. We're kind of living in these two positions as Christians, between the disappointment of what the daily kind of struggle of life is, especially at the moment with kind of further restrictions being put in place by the government, and going into the autumn and the winter with COVID kind of looming as well. There's this struggle between how life really is and also this bubbling up of hope of what God might do in this time, and the hope of eternal life and the hope of healing and restoration from God. So I wonder if you might have things in your life where you're feeling in between these two positions, in between disappointment and also hope. And so my encouragement to you today is that Jesus, when we're in that place between disappointment and hope, Jesus is walking alongside us. He's walking along the road with us. And sometimes the reality is he can be a bit hard to spot. Sometimes we don't recognise that his presence is there with us, but we can trust him that he is with us, that he's walking alongside with us, and that he's waiting to reveal himself to us. So maybe that will encourage you today. Have a great day.